From the first day that I saw Keith Haring, just caught my eye. I have a woodcut in my apartment of his. For me, creativity is very attractive, and art is one of the children of the mother creativity. And I have always enjoyed having relationships with different artists, painters, sculptors, also, of course, designers, and that's my life. Your question is very interesting because I feel that the artwork, like your environment, has to give you pleasure. It has to make you happy. And that was always my method of choosing a painter or an artist. And there are so many different artists and different styles, and I prefer it that way because I don't feel as though I am in one school of art and artists. You know, the art collection, I guess, started at 8th Street and continued in Hotel Venus. Actually, even here, one of the painters who painted the murals in Hotel Venus, we have him here, Jonathan Bressler. So, you know, it's a lifetime of associates and friends and artists. My relationship with the artist, I feel as though if I see something and it talks to me, I'm not an editor. I like to take it as it is or leave it and let it go. If I don't understand it, I have to let it go. But if it gives me inspiration or pleasure, then I want it next to me in whatever my environment is. No, as I say, I am not the editor in the sense of, like, for example, Scooter LaForge. I love his work. Whatever he shows me, I like it because he's consistent and he has his own style. I prefer that. I don't really want to influence the artistic value of the artist. Jean-Michel Basquiat would come in my store and he'd be on the floor painting. You know, it was those great times, really. They were wonderful times. I don't think we realized how special those times were. Yes, definitely. He also had a band called Gray. And the first time he came up to my loft, which was above my shop on 8th Street, he said, I have a band called Gray. Can we come here and rehearse? I said, yeah, sure, why not? So they used to come and rehearse in my loft on 8th Street above my store. Yeah, I did. But, you know, again, I don't try to do a lot of editing. I either relate to it or I don't relate to it, if you know what I'm saying. I prefer it in its original expressional state. I never think of myself that way. I'm just, you know, I do my thing, do my fashion art gallery now, my store before, but I love being here because I brought designers and artists when I opened up this fashion art gallery. And I needed to have that in my life. So when I left my Soho store, then we moved to the Bowery, and then when I came here, I bought an apartment very close to here. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do a little art fashion gallery. And, I wanted something a little less pressure. Because, when you have a shop, it's buying trips, it's much more complicated. In my gallery here, the artists bring their inventions, their works. And for me, I find it a bit easier than the traveling required for shopping and so on. There was a time Japanese pieces were very popular in my shop. It was like Hello Kitty. And that started my Japanese mini trips for shopping. And of course I made friends there, and it was a big slice of the pie in my life. Harajuku reminded me immediately of downtown New York where we were. It was the young area. And then I started to meet several people who had shops there and become friends with them, like Moscow. And I have to say, I do miss that time in my life because it was my eyes opened to something new. It was great. I still do. I have, my apartment is much smaller. It's very nice. But for example, Richard Alvarez, he painted on glass behind my kitchen, and it lights up from the back. So it's a wall-to-wall painting on glass, and it's gorgeous. So yes, I feel like I get pleasure from seeing this kind of original talent, and it makes me feel good to have it in my life. If I see originality, that is a very important factor for me. Whether it's a painting or it's a fashion, something that makes my eyes open, wow. And we have, several designers, artists in the gallery that, for example, Scooter LaForge, he has a signature. People recognize him. And, it makes me very happy. Yes, it's good. People come. It's good. I'm happy. For whatever reason, they know about me or they know about the gallery here. But, they come, they visit, and we do things together. These days, I have to admit, but I think it's getting better. For about a year or more, more even, I was very disillusioned with what I was seeing. It was not imaginative, it was not positive. Actually, it gave me, let's say, a philosophical theory about the fashion. And I realized that it's the time that we experience that create, whether it's a painting or if it's a garment or something creative that's expressive. I think that it definitely tells a story of the time it's coming from. So I found recently, last couple of years, I was for example, I was in Paris and I was on the phone with my boss, Darren Starr, and he was still in the US. And I said, Darren, I'm gonna go out now and check out all the French chic girls. So I go outside, all these girls, sneakers, jeans, sweat hoodies. I'm like, where's the Paris fashion? It became worldwide, this sort of, but I think that it reflects economy. For example, I guess my idea is, I don't remember this, but I kind of pieced it together. After World War I, it was like in the 20s, and the mood was so high. And, the skirts went from ankle, they became up here. Courrèges, Cardin. And it reflects the mood of the culture at that time. So, I think recently a lot of the fashion, it looked kind of depression wear. It doesn't fit, it's not a color that strikes you, it's kind of faded, very but I think we're coming out of it, I'm noticing. But when I was in Paris, I was kind of shocked because sweatpants and hoodies and sneakers, okay, it's here, I know, but I didn't expect it there. It gave me this idea that the expression is an expression telling the story of the culture of the time. As a child, I have to say, I used to love fashion as an expression as a kid. In my book, I talk about my cowgirl days, and I love the costume. It wasn't for me like fashion. It was more like costume and expression. From the first day that I saw Keith Haring, just caught my eye. I have a woodcut in my apartment of his. And also a friend of mine, he's from the Middle East. He painted me a rather large painting of this kind of Middle Eastern woman. I have it in my bedroom. It's really gorgeous. I love art, whether it's a painting or it's a fashion piece. It's the expression and it's personal. It brings you close to the person because it's raw, it's direct, and it's not, filtered. I see something, it either makes me happy or, I move on. I don't see it, I don't recognize it, but if it makes me happy, then it's important, of course, because happiness is very important.